Hi, welcome back. I'm real excited for this segment because I'm going to be finally putting the carbon on the actual carbon tube for the tube board. Also, I got a lapel mic. By now I'm basically this old Tony. So, this is the wooden core for the carbon fiber tube. It's a hollow box made out of plywood pieces that have been glued together with epoxy. And I've sanded down all the rough corners to round everything out. But as you can see, there are still these locations at either end of the board that I want to fill in because the layers of plywood have left ridges. In addition, since each end of the board tapers from thick to thin, there's a concave bend right there with a sharp corner in it. It doesn't look very sharp because the angle is small, but it's still a significant issue. This is because when you stand on top of a board, the bottom surface gets placed in tension, and all of the carbon fibers that run along the bottom of the board will try to pull themselves up off of the wooden surface when they're placed in tension. The amount of pressure they exert on the wooden surface trying to pull themselves away is inversely proportional to the radius of this curve. So I'm also going to put filler along this area to try to make the curve as large as possible. I'm going to do this using glass microballoons, a filler material meant for epoxy that is essentially just a whole bunch of microscopic glass hollow balloons, as the name implies. They thicken the epoxy into a paste and keep it very lightweight, which is what we want here. So I'm going to mix up my epoxy and get started. Alright, now I'm going to start mixing in the micro. I'm going to move very slowly, and I've put on a mask here because this stuff jumps into the air really quickly, and you definitely don't want it in your lungs. Mixing it slowly and just adding a little bit of powder at a time is definitely the way to go here. When it stops being able to drip off of the brush, I know that I've thickened it enough. And now I'm just going to use my trusty squeegee to try to get a flat surface. I'm also going to try letting the squeegee bend between the two angled surfaces here to try to get the nice fillet I'm looking for. Alright, I'm really happy with how that looks. The micro feathered out to a very, very thin layer on either side, so I think that's a smooth enough joint for me. I'm going to repeat all of this on the other side of the board. And okay, this side is looking pretty good too, so I'm going to let all of this cure and get the carbon fiber ready. It's the next day now, and I've got all of my carbon fiber stuff ready to go. The plan for this layup is going to be starting with one layer of this woven sleeve material, which has its fibers at plus and minus 45 degrees, which will make the tube stiff against twisting motions. Several layers of unidirectional carbon with the fibers running straight up and down the beam, which will make it stiff against bending, and then one more layer of the sleeves. This has been a little bit of an ordeal, if I'm being honest. I've been working as fast as I can for about 3.5 hours. Everything's finally bagged up. I've only got it sucked down to a relatively low pressure because this is a hollow structure, so I don't want to crush it or make the walls bow inwards too much. At this point, I am going to go to sleep. That went more or less okay, I think. Still need to trim down the ends and sand some stuff off. There's a couple of defects, such as wrinkling around the wire exits and a small bubble right here, but it's all on the tension side of the structure, so hopefully it's all right. We'll see how it does. All right.